now for the Shop Report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report. I'm Barbershop Jay. I'll be your host for the day. Here's what's happening. Who's the next men's American tennis star, we ask, as well as our continuation of the 2019 or the upcoming 2019 NFL season preview. And in this edition, we are previewing the AFC South. We already did the North. We are doing the AFC South. But first, I'd like to discuss something here briefly as I could, or as briefly as I may. The passing of one said Pernell Sweetpea Whitaker. Now, you all know I'm a big boxing aficionado. And with that being said,
Absolutely.
I'd like to bring in my man. Of course, joining us on the program today is none other than my man from the NYC, a.k.a. Rucker Park, Brother Rich. Brother Rich, what's going on?
My dear brother, my friend, I'm always honored to be on with the show, our listeners, and I'm certainly my man from up north.
Yeah.
Always honored to be on.
And, of course, speaking of my man from up north, Joey James, a.k.a. Double J. Double J, tell the people what you say.
Likewise, honor and a pleasure, and looking forward to diving into these great topics.
Yes, indeed. I'll tell you what, Double J, right quick. I'm going to need you to push the program, man, on your end, man. I'm going to need you to go extra hard, man, because, I'm losing folks. I'm being facetious here. But it's a couple of folks, man, they're not too happy with the fact that I got a Michigan guy, being that we in Ohio, on the program. And I said, look here, man, I roll with character. You know what I'm saying? Not whose team is what. You get what I'm trying to tell you? You know what I'm saying? The man adds valuable insight to what it is that we're doing here, and I could care less about him being up north. I ain't all up in my fandom feelings like that. Brother Rich, you can speak to that as well. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's a matter of perspective here is how we do it. You know what I'm trying to tell you? So, Double J, I just want to let you know, I'm not one of them folks from Ohio or one of them folks in Cleveland who just – I don't take it to that level. You know what I mean? I'm glad you're part of the program. You feel what I'm saying? And as well as my man, Brother Rich is, I'm sure. All right? So always, we just want you to understand that you are welcome here. Even though I'm not welcome to the parade, but you are welcome here. You see what I mean? See how I do? See how nice I am?
Well, you're definitely not welcome to the parade.
Okay. Who needs
so
you?
Let's keep going with that.
Double J, you still on that wagon too, huh? Huh?
I appreciate that. Oh, yeah, I sure am, and I'm not going to be falling off anytime soon.
Wow, here we go. All right, yeah, let's get into this Pernell Whitaker. I'm on Facebook the other day, and I seen in my timeline, man, that Pernell Whitaker passed. He was 55 years old, may he rest in peace, but he got hit by a car. Did you all hear that, Brother Rich? Did you hear that, Double J?
Yes, I did. I heard it on Twitter.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. No offense to Floyd Mayweather's 50, but you know me. I go by the eye test, and I'm telling you right now, I'm a Sweetpea. I was a Sweetpea fan. I don't remember what fight it was in particular, but I do recall watching a fight, and I heard the announcer say, "And the crowd is hollering, Sweetpea, Sweetpea." And I just thought, because some announcers, man, they stand out to you, you know what I mean? And some don't stand out. Like, a lot of folks giving Joe Buck flack for whatever reason. But anyway.
There you go.
Yeah. But it just, that was one, to hear the announcer to say it and the way he said it, it just stuck with me, man. But Sweetpea, man, he was one of the coaches. You want to talk about defense and, slip game and all that kind of stuff, man. It was nobody better, to put on gloves as far as I'm concerned. I mean, with all due respect to Ali and, Foreman and Frazier and Livingston Bramble, Greg Haugen, all of them guys, any guys that you can think of to come to mind, Sweetpea was one of the best. He really was. And I particularly remember his battle. I call it an epic battle with America's Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya. And if you saw that fight, man, and I was just talking actually to my cousin, Tariq, I told you the boxer. I had him on the show. It's been a while now, and I definitely want to get him back because, he knew Vernon Forrest. He know Oscar De La Hoya. He's on the fight scene with Ken and Sean Porter. And I got to mention some about Ken and Sean Porter, too, by the way. But my cousin, being that he's from Cleveland, but he lived in Atlanta for years, man. And that's where his boxing career, it started here with, I don't know if you all, Brother Richard, you may be, but Dunk was a very, very good trainer in the East Cleveland days when my cousin was going to Shaw and whatnot. And he started out with Dunk, but he ended up going to Atlanta. Yeah, and, with his dad, they moved down there or whatever. And he blossomed, really, really blossomed. He was on his way to the Olympic trials or something or another. I told you he came back up here for a vacation, got in that car accident. But anyway, he knows Johnny McClain. He was, when I say been all up and through Layla Ali's house, he was actually, if I mentioned this before, forgive me for being redundant, but he also had a cameo on In the Heat of the Night. It was an episode that they were doing, and I guess it got something to do with some fighters. He was one of the fighters that was in the ring. So my cousin is not just my cousin. He's pretty well known on the boxing scene, professional boxing. You get what I'm trying to tell you? But he and I were talking about that fight with De La Hoya. He said, man, I don't know if you remember this, and I didn't. Shame on it, senility. But he said, he said Sweetpea was winning that fight. I said, well, yeah, I remember that. He said, but he should have won the fight. Well, I remember that, too. He said, no, I'm telling you. He said he should have won the fight, per the judges. I said, well, what you mean? He said, man, you don't remember? Of course not. Here we go. He said they took a point from Sweetpea. And he said they shouldn't have. He said, and I'm telling you, out of all my years of boxing, man, out of all the fights I watched, he said, I'd never seen them do. Well, before he said they took a point, he said, I'd never seen them do what they did to him. And then that's when I said, what? He said they took a point from something that was unintentional. He said, I can't remember if it was a headbutt or a low blow. But either way, it was unintentional. He said, now you take a point when it's intentional. He said, but for them to take a point unintentional, he said, was some bull crap in the game. He said, I'd never seen that in boxing before. I'm talking about not no Tyson, not no Lennox Lewis, not no Ike Biabuchi, not no Hasim Rahman, and the list goes on in the mid, in them 80s and mid 90s and early 2000s, when the heavyweight division, was the shiznle. You get what I'm trying to say? He said, and at that point, Sweetpea was up one. So, of course, when they took the point, it made it even. And, we all know the rest is history. So, and that's when I really, really started really having a disdain for Oscar De La Hoya. But that's what I wanted to know. I'm like, man, since when did boxing start taking points for incidental headbutts or low blows? You know what I mean? And you know what? And speaking of boxing, I said I mentioned the Sean Porter deal. From my understanding, I don't know how true this is just yet, but it just came across my timeline, so to speak, that the Sean Porter Earl Spence match is set for September 28th at the Staples Center, Brother Rich. You might want to check that out. And, of course, September 28th. And apparently the winner of the Porter-Spence bout will take on the winner of the Manny Pacquiao-Keith Thurman bout. So, Double J, I'll let you weigh in on that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's going to be a good one. I mean, this is kind of what we've been waiting for. But as far as the one that you mentioned to me off air that you didn't want to see, or do we want to? You don't want to throw any Pacquiao mentions?
Heck no, man! Stop. And here's the killer part. I used to be a fan of Manny. Man, I used to say about Manny, man, when people talk about styles, make fights, and all of that, my response to folks was, look here. The way that guy throws punches, this is Manny we talking now, his punches were incongruent. He throws punches from all angles. But after I see Marquez, man, catching the way he caught him, I mean, my last memory of Manny, and because, from my understanding, Manny's supposed to be, well, that was the Manny in, oh, gosh, what's his name now? Help me out. Amir Khan. I saw that was the post. That's the one you talking about, the Amir Khan. And I was like, man, last time I saw Manny, he was face down in it, on the canvas, that is. And Amir Khan, he quit. So I'm not impressed with either. And I'm not impressed with this Thurman, one-punch Thurman guy either. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying I could jump in the ring tomorrow. I'd need about 12 years worth of training, just for going 1 minute, one round, 1 minute. But by boxing standards, Man, stop it. This Spence Porter is going to be far more worth the watch than anything Manny and Amir Khan and Keith Thurman could be in. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the poster looked good. So, yeah. What about you, Brother Rich? What you say? No, and again, we're not mentioning Manny. And
No, I'm thinking, you put me onto this part of it, this particular grouping of fighters, and I'm finding them to be, they're pushing them to be the lead edge of the resurgence of boxing in terms, in particular, that weight class. And so I expect that there should be some movement, because there are a lot of, from what I'm hearing in the pipeline, there are a lot of up-and-coming young boxers like that, trying to make that resurgence. Because as we know, UFC is just doing tremendous things right now. So I think this fight is going to be a big fight and then lead us into an even bigger fight. Now, where that comes from and how that comes about, we don't know, because we can double right back on what you said you were talking to your cousin about. I can absolutely believe that, because I remember hearing about that Sweetpea fight and the Oscar De La Hoya. We know that they were trying to make Oscar De La Hoya the golden, keep that when it was just coming together. And so no doubt about it, that what happened in Boston, absolutely. What happened in Vegas stays
in Vegas. Hold that thought. We got a caller here on the line. Let's see who we got here. I almost didn't catch it. Hello, caller.
Yo, what's going on, man? I'm just not tuning in. It's Sheldon from Detroit, man.
What's up? What's up, Detroit, Motor City? What's happening, man? How you be?
Going everything smooth. What's going on with y'all fellas, man?
We just sitting up here right now. We discussing this Pernell Whitaker's passing, man. You see that? Sweetpea got hit by a car.
Who was that?
Yeah, Pernell Whitaker, man. Sweetpea, Pernell Whitaker, the boxer, got hit by a car, man, a couple days ago now.
Oh yeah, was not aware of that, man. When is that?
If when was it, Double J? What, a day or two ago? Well, I know it was announced maybe yesterday or day before yesterday.
Yeah, it happened on Saturday, because he had met with Floyd Mayweather on Friday.
Wow. Okay, and I did.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and yeah, man. So yeah, I know, right? And then here's the killer part. He was down in Virginia Beach, and I've been down in Virginia Beach a couple of times, man. I'm saying, wow, I wonder how you didn't see a car coming, man. But we don't like to speculate here, but yeah, I mean, I feel for the guy, man.
Yeah. Man, to be honest, my little sister just got into a car accident today, man. Not to throw it off topic, but yeah, man, that's some shit. Sometimes you don't even see it coming, man.
I know, man. Is she okay?
Yeah, everything's all good.
Oh, that's
down
good.
there in Texas, man. We trying to figure it out right now, man. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, man. It's for real, man. Our heart go out to your sister, and we grateful and glad that everybody's okay and she's okay and whatnot, man. We
Yeah, we appreciate that, definitely.
Yeah, man. Tomorrow's never promised type deal, man. So the moments that we have, man, we got to make them last. You get what I'm trying to tell you? If that makes any sense whatsoever. But yeah, tell her
Yeah, I agree. Totally, man, 100%.
Yeah, tell her, the folks over here at the Shop Report, man, we pulling for her all day, every day. But, man.
Doubt, man. That's most appreciated.
Oh, for sure. But, yeah, man, we were talking Sweetpea here. Let me slow it down a bit, because, boxing is just my thing. Really, it is. It's sweet science. But we've had this discussion before on the show and the program and whatnot. Boxing ain't what it used to be, and they opened the door up by all of this time in between championship fights and whatnot. Man, they opened the door for UFC to just run roughshod over the whole combative skill type deal.
That bare hand now. Man. Boxing ain't like back in the day when it was about the heavyweights, man, and heavy hitters, man. Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's a whole nother ball game out here.
Yeah, man. So, Spence and I just saw it on my timeline. Spence and Sean Porter getting ready to link up September 28th down up at the Staples Center where my man, Brother Richard, at on the West Coast. So he probably going to go check that out and get back to us. Yeah, let us know what's happening.
Yeah, most definitely.
But boxing need that. You know what I mean? They need to get past. It can't just be a name thing. It got to go down in the ring. You understand what I'm saying? Otherwise,
exactly.
we ain't gonna keep on spending our money on that, man. And you giving us exhibition
Right,
bouts.
to keep on seeing people run around the ring. Like, can we get toe-to-toe action out here?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but again, man, you know what I'm saying? My condolences go out to the families of Sweetpea, Pernell, Whitaker. One of my favorite, you know what I mean? I watched this dude, man. I don't know, again, I still can't remember all of his fights, but I know I watched him, whoever he was fighting, he was standing in front of the dude. Then next thing I know, he ended up behind the dude, and he pulled the dude's shorts down from behind, man. You know what I'm saying? And that dude,
Oh, man.
yeah,
That's like AD. That's like Adrian Bronner, man. When he did the same thing, I forgot who he was fighting. He got behind him and got the humping him, man. What's up with these?
Yeah, I
guys,
don't know. But Sweet Pea's thing though, he was just so naturally gifted that he used to toy with people in the ring. That's what I'm driving at. You know what I mean? He would play with you, man. He would get down, squat down, put his gloves on the mat in a squatting position now, and dare you to hit him. Man, come on, man. Ain't nobody slip game like Sweet Peas. Brother Rich, what you say? Whose slip game was better, Floyd's or Sweet Pea?
Definitely Sweet Pea. That's what it is. If you didn't see that, you don't know where that came from.
Exactly.
You don't know where Floyd learned some of that stuff.
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
I have no argument with it.
Exactly.
Right.
What about you, Double J?
It was an honor to watch him as a youth. He was somebody I looked forward to, on those HBO nights and Showtime nights.
Yeah.
On a weekend and the family gatherings back in those early 90s, evenings when boxing was very much alive and well.
that was a good boxing era.
To Brother Rich's point, there were so many, that's where everybody got the showboating from. That's where Roy Jones got it from. That's where Adrian Broner got it from. That's where Prince Nassim got it from.
Yeah.
It was from Sweet Pea.
Yeah, no question about it. All right, fellas, we're going to switch gears here, and we're going to discuss or talk a little bit of tennis. Now, here's the deal. I hadn't ordinarily or hadn't really given thought to even making this a subject today, to be honest with you. But I'm riding in the car a couple of days ago, actually a couple of days before I found out about the Sweet Pea passing, and I'm sitting there listening to the radio, and they're talking about Serena and where she stands or where she sits at next to Martina Navratilova and Chris Everett Lloyd, I believe. Like, she's like number 3 in line, sort of almost like that Tiger thing up to Jack Nicklaus. You know what I mean? Like, is she going to surpass them, as being one of the greatest ever? I don't remember the whole details of it all. But I'm saying to myself, we already know what Serena is. And it just made me think about, who's the men's American star, right? Who's the men's American star? The last time I checked, I couldn't even tell you who the last men's American star is. Double J, could you help us out with that? We lost Sheldon. Sheldon, if you're still listening to us, man, we appreciate you for calling for sure, man. But, we got to keep things moving. My man Sheldon from the Motor City on the Detroit side of things. But, yeah, Double J, who's the last American men's tennis star you remember?
Yeah, you got a few to pick from. You got Tommy Paul, you got Jared Donaldson, and Francis Defoe.
Got you. And guess what? Never heard of them. I'm just saying, no offense to them guys. But let me say this to you right quick. Do you know, and I asked you that on purpose, Double J, it's been 14 years since an American men's tennis player has won a major. The last one being, of course, Andy Roddick at the U.S. Open. I think it was 2009. Now, go figure. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, go figure. Brother Rich.
Well, you got to look at you got Rafa. You have...
Who is Rafa?
Of course, Rafa Nadal.
Oh, Rafael.
You got
Rafael.
Roger Federer.
Yeah.
And then you got the Joker. You're talking about 3... Those 3 have won, I believe, a combined 170 Grand Slams. I mean, it's just astounding.
Yeah, but they're not. That's not.
It's the
they're not
Bermuda
American.
Triangle right now on the men's side. It's not fair right now.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's the Bermuda Triangle. That's a good way to put it. Brother Rich, what you say about all that?
I can't disagree with that because of exactly what he's saying. I mean, where are you going to go? That nobody's letting you get up there. And so the last time I even heard about a men's tennis player, an American-born men's tennis player, was when one was getting accosted outside of a hotel in New York. That's the last time I heard about even a men's tennis player. So the men's tennis, on that side of the draw is strictly European. It's run by the Europeans right now, and so we're just looking over the pond, and it just but on this side of it, we're looking at, man, there's nobody. That there's some up and coming on the landscape, but if you're not following tennis, and there's not enough attraction in terms of the players there, the player movement there, to draw in the average eyeball. Everybody that knows American tennis, we all know Venus and Serena.
Exactly, yeah. Well, let me point out a few other things.
Well, and we're going to know Coco, I hope.
Who?
I do want to throw that in there.
I agree with that. We're going to know Coco. Absolutely with that. We're going to know Coco.
Oh, of course. But again, fellas, this is the men's now. We got to have our turn, okay? But let me point out a few other things, too, though. Andre Agassi lost to Roger Federer in 2005 at the U.S. Open. It was the only other American since Roddick to even appear in a major final. And then from 1990, this just goes to show you how big of a drought it is on the men's side. From 1990 to 1999, American men reached the semifinals or better 62 times at Grand Slams. You want me to repeat that? 62 times at Grand Slams. All right? So here's the question. And Double J, you kind of, hinted at it just a few seconds ago here. Is globalization, quote unquote, to blame for the diminishing American men's presence at Grand Slams in particular, Brother Rich?
Well, I don't know if it's globalization because tennis has always had an international presence. So I think it's an investment what Americans decide we want to invest our time, what we're focused on in that time. And we're a consumer-driven society. We're a role model-driven in terms of our sports and entertainment figures. We tend to latch on to personalities, individuals, and then we decide we want to be like Mike, or we want to be like Kobe, or we want to be like LeBron, or want to be like Judge in New York. So where are we looking at now? As we said, we're being dominated by the Europeans in terms of the tennis rankings. So on the American side of the draw, we don't have much to look at unless you know about that. Let's look at this also. The economics of tennis don't make a lot of sense for some people because you got to get to a tennis court, get tennis racket, get tennis. So it's not a sport that the average American person is going to take. It's considered more of a country club sport, if you will. Oh. And so that's why the Venus and Serena's story is always considered such a phenomenal success story. So where's the pipeline to bring up America? Absolutely.
Yeah. And, some would say that the tennis is an acquired taste. I've heard that term used before in that. So what do you say, Double J? Is the globalization at the nucleus of it all for why there's no men's American tennis star?
No, I'm going to actually attribute it because I actually think these young men get a lot of support. But, we were spoiled for a while there. When you look at the names of Roddick, Agassi, Sampras, dating, both of the McEnroes.
There you go, stealing my thunder.
Spanning 3 decades.
There you go, stealing my thunder again. Continue. This guy's a thunder thief.
And so, when you look at it from that side of the coin, it gives you a little bit of a different perspective that we were used to being on top, and it's not to say that something drastic took place. It just happened to be that we happened to, bear witness to 3 of tennis's greatest players all taking place, happening to suit up against one another, all at the same time, which is, again, no discredit to them. Or to any of the American players, it just really goes to show how superior these 3 particular men are.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, in my lifetime, it was John McEnroe. That was my boy. And I'm not real heavy into tennis, okay? but he made it worth watching. Man, he didn't care if he was the line judge, the back judge, the front judge, the referee, the ball boy. He didn't care who you was. If he had something to say, he was going to say it. And on top of that, because the man was theatrics. That's the one. If I would say one word that come to mind when you say John McEnroe, theatrics would be one of them. But the dude could play. He was of the Rizette. John McEnroe had a racket on him. But he was a racket, too. That was my boy. He used to smash rackets. What you talking about, ref? Man, kick rocks. Okay, I'm like, all right, I see you, Johnny Mac, do your thing, baby. Yeah, he was one of my favorites. Well, he was my favorite. You know, then you had Jimmy Connors and all of that. You know, he was more of a, what do you call it? You know, one of them Crockett and Miami Vice looking type dudes, you know what I'm saying? Got all the ladies. Hey, you know, making toothpaste commercials. Ding! You know, all of that. But John McEnroe was my dude. You know what I mean? John didn't care. If he had a problem with you, he's gonna let you know and stand back and get yours. But yeah, you know, tennis though, they do, man. They need to. They got a long way to go. I don't see nobody catching up to Serena or Navratilova, none of them guys, or ladies, should I say? But yeah, the American side of things, man, the men they need to get together, man. Otherwise, you know, all they're gonna be more remembered for is doubles. All right, let's turn our attention. You didn't find that funny? Okay, got you. All right, yeah. In our continuation of the upcoming 2019 NFL season, we do our preview. And, of course, this week, or in this episode, we are previewing, like I said, the AFC South. And we start things off with the Texans. So, let me say this. Do you all agree that the Texans' playoff hopes rest on the shoulders of Deshaun Watson? Because here's a tidbit, and I didn't even know this. This is why I love Lindy's publication. This dude was sacked a league-high 62 times last season, Double J. Is that insane or what?
Well, it is a little bit, but some of that is growing pains. I don't think you can 100% attribute that to the offensive line or to the running game. Obviously, they did have some injury issues with Lamar Miller last year, and so you know that's going to allow you as a defense to hone in on the quarterback because they're pretty much one dimensional at that point. But nevertheless, I do feel that some of that is based on his youth. You know, that he wants to be able to do more things with his feet occasionally. Yeah. And he has to buy time occasionally for, his elite receivers to get open.
Yeah, but they're not going nowhere. If you're getting sacked 62 times, I don't care what your first name or your last name is, they better do something about that O-line because you and I both know, and you too, Brother Rich, that when you're talking football, it starts. I know the quarterback is the most discussed, and then the running back maybe, and so on and so forth. But it starts in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Right. Nothing else that you're going to do outside of that is going to work if you don't have it locked down in the trenches. I mean, not too long ago, well, maybe long for some folk, the Dallas Cowboys, them Super Bowl runs, they come to mind right quick. You go back and look at that offensive line, Nate Newton and 2-A and all them guys. You got to have and then, the Washington, with Russ Grimm and Joe Jacoby and all. Matter of fact, the Browns even in the mid-'80s with, George Lilja, Farron, Mike Babb, and all of them guys. Man, you got to have an O-line. Otherwise, ain't nothing else you're doing. You go look at Jim Brown or go read Jim Brown's autobiography. He'll tell you that. He said that in his bio. Hey, them cats up front, man. And then again on the defensive side, we saw with a front four, them guys in the trenches for the Giants, what they did to the Patriots twice. You know what I mean? They did something to Tom Brady that the league combined couldn't do, and they did it twice. But it was because of, in large part, Tuck, Ura, Strahan. I mean, my goodness. Pierre Paul and all them guys. I don't know Pierre Paul was a linebacker. No, Pierre Paul was one of them four. So it starts in the trenches. They're going to have to do something, put something in front of that guy, and keep him upright, to tell you the truth. But I'm with you, too, though, Double J. I'm not saying you're wrong or nothing here, but that old line, man, they got to really, really address that. And then here's another thing. It's not flip side, but here's another thing, too. On the other side of the ball, Honey Badger and Kareem Jackson are gone. They lost them in free agency, Double J. So, that back end, can that front end hold up with that back end being suspect like that?
Well, you definitely need a better year of production from J.J. Watt. That's who it starts, and, he's getting up there in age, so it's going to be a big year.
Yeah, it is. Well, but J.J. Watt get a pass, man, because, when he on the field, he bring it. Folks talk about Aaron Donald and whatever it is for the Rams, but last time I checked, J.J. Watt was still, injury or not, he was still a guy. You remember, you know what I say? It's before you come out that locker room, when the offensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator is drawing it up on the board. Everybody else get an X and an O, but that one guy, they put his number up there. You get that's when you know that guy's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Brother Rich, let me ask you this, and Double J, you can weigh in too. Well, Brother Rich, do you want to weigh in on the Honey Badger and Kareem Jackson being gone? You think that's going to be a problem?
Well, I have to agree with you what you're saying about the quarterback in terms of the Texans. But here's the other thing that comes to mind with him. You use this language a lot in college and from the pros. You use the language translatable. And so what I'm wondering is, we knew that this young man played like that. So his translatable, when he came to the NFL, what kind of coaching is he getting to understand that a player like that, we got to keep him upright, but we also got to help him to how to protect himself. We got to let him understand when to slide now, and don't get into a situation like the quarterback in Washington that had the same kind of skill set, but didn't know when to get down and how to get out properly and get out of the way. Because these boys, they're not going to be made fools of. They're out to hurt you. Yeah. So he has some personal responsibility as well to not make some of those, not try to go for that extra half a yard, know when to get down as well.
Yeah. RG3. Brother Rich, we'll stay with you on this one. Who's the
RG?
Yeah, RG3, right? Who's the other wide receiver, wide out threat besides Hopkins? Nobody. I'll answer it for you.
I was going to say I can't think of anybody.
Exactly.
Absolutely correct.
Double J, what about you? Who else is a threat over there at the wide out spot? Tight end?
Come on. You're not going to show any love to your guy? To your Ohio State player?
Hold up. Slow down there. Hold on there. Hold on. See, now you're going to make me call you Joey James. Hold on there, buddy. I'm a Kane guy through and through. I respect some of the folks that went through that horseshoe up there in Columbus or down there because it's south of here, whatever. But them old state players, man, I'm not, I respect it, once you get to the, you come to the Browns or something, Denzel Ward or something like that, But as far as collegiately, no, Ohio State players don't get no respect from me. And I know it's a lot of Ohio State folks that be like, oh, no, he didn't. Yeah, I did. Kane fan here, baby, for life. 230 for 30s, by the way. But what did you say, Double J? Who is this person that you speak of?
Yeah, but ultimately, in all seriousness, Will Fuller is a solid number 2.
Hold up, slow down. Slow down. Will Fuller, did he went to Ohio State?
No. I was talking about Braxton Miller.
Yeah, I didn't know you were talking about him, but I knew you were being. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, Braxton, right. Terrell Pryor, gotcha. Will Fuller, I thought Will Fuller was a D-back. He not a defensive back? Who knows?
No. This Will Fuller, he's from Notre Dame.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. No, I don't know, Double J. The only threat over there is Hopkins. Hopkins been the threat, too, tell you the truth. We talked about that a couple weeks back, about all them catches and no drops. Yeah, I don't see. I mean, in all honesty, man, I don't see the Texans really. I think they are what they are. They're gonna go as far as Watson takes them, and Watson can only take them as far as he can if he's, if he's upright. I don't see them win this division. I'll tell you who I think will win this division here in a minute. But yeah, I don't see the Texans win this division. I mean, it is football any given Sunday, but right now, the way it's looking, I don't see the Texans doing it. All right.
Yeah, but look at the state of the division as a whole. I know we're going to dive into the other teams, but ultimately, I don't I don't necessarily say that there's that clear-cut dominant favorite.
I don't know. After we go through them, then we can say that. Well, no, I don't know. I hear you, but I disagree with you slightly. And we'll get to these guys next, the Colts. That's what we're going to talk about here next. And I'll ask this. And this is according to Lindy's. And Lindy's is just asking the question. Are they, and not the Browns, the real team to watch in the AFC, period, this season? Brother Rich?
I didn't know this was the comedic portion of our program. Hell no, they're not the team to watch.
He said, "Hey-yo" with an A-O. Okay, got you. No, okay, they not the team to watch? No?
Isn't their owner still a drug addict? Come on, man, let's be serious. Come on, lose. No, sir, absolutely not.
Okay, so Double J, you agree you with Brother Rich on that? They not the team to watch?
Absolutely. I mean, Eric Ebron, his resurgence by him completely taking the proverbial number 2 during his time with the Lions, just because Andrew Luck is using him as a bailout, and he's getting yards now. We're supposed to take them serious here.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. And they kind of almost then this is my team. I think the Colts will win the division because of Andrew Luck. Now, that doesn't mean I'm like buying Luck jerseys. Let me say this wait a minute.
I can't believe I'm hearing this from you.
No, let me finish my soliloquy. Okay. Now, Andrew Luck is NFL worthy. He is. However, what I don't like is the credit that he's given for comebacks, fourth quarter in particular, but not the discredit, so to speak, for having put the Colts in a position for him to have to come back, because he throws a lot of interceptions. And I'm not even about to mention the number of interceptions here because I don't have a calculator. But I think looking at that position, now I'm a Deshaun Watson fan, I am. But Andrew, despite now coming off that, he starts his second season removed from a serious shoulder injury. We get all of that. I just think he got enough moxie. He still got T.Y. Hilton over there to win the division. I really do. I think his offensive line is a bit better, to be honest with you, than the other 3 teams in that division, which will lend itself to me thinking that the Colts will win this division. But I will say this, too. And here's this question. Can third-year pro Marlon Mack get it done this year? Because every successful quarterback, there's a successful running game attached to him. Would you not agree, Brother Rich?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
So then we're gonna go back to Double J and ask him, can Marlon Mack get it done? And then we'll let you say what you want to say about Andrew Luck.
I'm gonna say he cannot. He did turn it on late in the season.
Yeah, he did.
But again, overall, I was not impressed. I had him as a fantasy player. Again, I had very low expectations. But if you look at the ratio of the handoff last year, despite the increase in production in terms of overall, statistics,
yeah,
he actually was splitting time and losing time to his counterparts. So I don't believe, he single-handedly cannot.
Okay, well then I said, go ahead and say what you want to say about Andrew Luck. You said you can't believe I'm hearing this. Okay, what say you, nay, to the Andrew Luck?
Well, again, we haven't seen this guy really for a full season. That's part of the problem, is that he really can't stay on the field. And that's by and large, not necessarily a fault of his own. Actually, in some respects it is, because he gets hit too much. Again, it inserts the comments we made about Houston, but with Indianapolis, where they've done a horrendous job of getting him help as far as an offensive line.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue against that, But I still, and I guess that ain't saying much then, because I still think the Colts' offensive line is a bit better than the other three in this division. But we'll see. But you make strong points, though. You do. You really do make strong points. So now let's turn our attention then. In other words, again, like the Texans, you got T.Y. Hilton, maybe Ebron, and whoever else, and we don't trust Marlon Mack. So, I see where you're going with that. But now let's turn our attention to the defensive side of the ball. And, Brother Rich, I'll ask you this. They added former Kansas City Chief Justin Houston. Will that make a difference on their defense this year? The Colts.
Well, it would make a difference. It would make a difference if he was playing on a better team. But since he's playing in Indianapolis, it's not going to make any difference at all. I'm sorry, it's not happening for them.
Okay, so let me pose this question to both of you all right now. Do you see? Well, we haven't. Let's go through the other two teams first, and then I'll ask that question. I'll come back to it. Up next is the Jaguars. And I have to say, will the real Jags please stand up? I mean, in 2017, these dudes were a play or two away from winning. They were in the AFC Championship, from winning the AFC Championship. And then last year, the wheels fell off. They was 5-11. What's up with that, Double J?
Well, it's the position we've spent this entire segment talking about, the quarterback. They had an atrocious quarterback. And so it's going to be very interesting because we've seen only a small sample size of Nick Foles over these last few years. So he's entering what I would call a quarterback-friendly system with Tom Coughlin. That, again, this is a guy that brought out the best in Eli Manning, and it would not shock me if this is the year that they put it all together. They have studs all across the board in your key positions, and that might be the team that has to make that nice trip up north when it matters most in January, and that's where they might have to, unfortunately, they might freeze and fall apart there.
Okay, so I'm going to ask Brother Rich then. Excuse me, seeing how Double J just kind of already alluded to it. Is Nick Foles the answer in Jacksonville, Brother Rich? Is that the missing piece?
Say, come on now, Nick Foles is the problem. That's what I was going to say. You asked me Jacksonville, I'm going to say Nick Foles. Is that what you're talking about? Okay, Let's move on. He's the James Harden of the NFL.
What?
So move on to the next
but
question.
Brother Rich, he just did the Philly special. That was Nick Foles.
Here's what I mean. Here's what I mean. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, but hold on. I know you do, but hold on. Let me say this right quick. They got rid of Blake Bortles for Nick Foles.
But here's what I mean now. Here's
Okay.
what I mean.
Okay.
When I say the James Harden of the NFL, this is what I mean now. You got a guy who is, in terms of when the ball is in his hand, that's wonderful. But now when you get to the playoffs and you got to rely on this whole team and everybody we got to come together as a team, what he had in Philadelphia was perfect. What I saw him doing in taking this contract is just getting his money. But that team circumstance and situation, he's not going to have there what he had in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia was on both sides of the ball, as we well know. That team, the history of that franchise, he's in a whole different, crazy circumstance now. Yes, he's going to bring some leadership, some moxie to the squad, but the reality is football is just a different kind of thing, where different kind of animals, a team sport. He's not in the NBA locker room where he can just go in there and rally the troops. No.
Yeah.
He's gonna be good when the ball's in his hands, but when it comes to getting to the playoffs, just like Double J was saying, when they got to go up there and put in some work with one of those teams up there, I don't see that happening.
Okay, all right. So you and Double J, y'all been talking, without me being present. That's cool though. I hope y'all good to y'all's parade. Hey. Double J, is Brother Richard trying to say that Nick Foles in Jacksonville gonna look like the Nick Foles? Did he play for the Rams? I believe one of his stops before going to Philly.
No, he was drafted. He was drafted out of Arizona to Philly.
But he went to a few other stops, though. What other stops did he go to? Well, I want to say, I think he did play with the Rams. Let me see if I can look that up right quick. But meanwhile, while I'm trying to take a gander here at where he was, some of Nick Foles.
Yeah, he had the Rams and Chiefs for 2 years.
But
he
right.
was drafted by Philly. Yeah, he left for 2 years.
Right. So without looking that up now, Brother Rich trying to say he going to look in Jacksonville like he did with the Rams. Subpar.
Well, again, that was a different time, though. I completely get his point. If anything, what I would say regarding James Harden is that during the regular season, you can put up, all these great stats and look like the superstar, but then you forget to play defense when it matters in the playoffs.
Yeah. No, James Harden don't play no defense ever. And I say ever as an EVA. But I will say this about the Jaguars. You're right. They are somewhat loaded, and folks kind of forgot about that because of how their season ended or turned out last season. But don't forget now, they got Josh Allen, that boy from Kentucky. And I'm telling you right now, that dude can be a star with a capital R. So their defense just got fortified if he is what I think he's going to be. But then the question goes back to, and this is maybe to Brother Richard's point, that Leonard Fournette. We know Leonard is capable. But to me, he got to prove that he want to be one of the top backs in the league. Because he lightweight starting to look like the NFL's version of Rasheed Wallace. Head case. And I loved me some Sheed. He had the skill, but he just, for whatever reason, he just acted up. And the skills are secondary. Like that. We always talk about that pretty girl till she opened her mouth.
Can I ask you a question about the Jacksonville team? Let me ask you. You know this way better than me. And Double J, I'm sure, is up on this kind of mathematics. You all could look this up and tell me. Is it a history of NFL teams that show you progress, and then you progress, and then you fall all the way back, and you just come and take over? Because I don't see them as that. That was a team that was progressing, and then they're starting to fall back. So what are we saying? That this year they're just ready to go do it now? I don't see that. I think that in terms of their time and their history, of their moment on the clock, I don't know if they did what they were supposed to do with that.
Interesting. And you know what came to mind? Which team came to mind when you just said that? The New York Jets with Mark Sanchez. They were in the AFC Championship in 1 minute, and they ain't been the same since. Yeah, Double J, you know what I'm saying? It's right there. What you say to that?
Well, I don't want to put too much stock into that.
Okay.
I think it is what it is, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Okay, all right. Well, then lastly, we'll talk and discuss here the Tennessee, and I say Tennessee because they're going to play and they coming to see the Browns game 1 at First Energy, the Tennessee Titans. Yes. Is this a make or break season for Mariota, Brother Rich?
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
I say
you
that too.
Live up to the hype.
Yeah, I say that too. He's been in there long enough now. You know what I mean? That and they say he bulked up, pretty much this past off season. I don't know. I guess to be able to take the hits or whatnot, but I don't know how it's gonna make.
Because he knows it's a make or break season as well. Because
he
knows just like we know this is make or break for him.
This make or break for Mariota, Double J.
Oh, absolutely. You're going to have a very hungry Ryan Tannehill behind him. So he's going to get pushed this year.
You mean the same Ryan Tannehill that was in Miami?
Yeah, you know what? I'm telling you, say what you want, but that guy, he had nothing to work with in Miami.
Well, and I don't. And go ahead.
What's that?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish.
Well, you got guys like Corey Davis, which isn't much of an upgrade. Tajay Sharp. They got a high ceiling, and of course they have Derrick Henry and Deion Lewis, and Deion Lewis specifically can catch out of the backfield. So there's options there, and it is for the most part it's designed. And Delaney Walker, you cannot sleep on Delaney Walker. That guy's been Mr. Consistent for the last decade. But ultimately here, those are weapons Ryan Tannehill can work with because they're upgrades from what he had in Miami.
And I'll say this, though, to Tannehill's credit. I'm impressed with him, and I wasn't saying that about Tannehill being in Miami as in to say he was bad or nothing like that. I was just making sure it was the same Tannehill. A lot of retreads going around in the league here lately. But Tannehill impressed me, man, because the guy he started out as a wide receiver. He was a wide receiver in college when he first got to, well, I don't want to say Texas A&M. No. Was it Texas A&M? Oh, boy, my memory is shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, it's not as bad as I thought it was. Them ginkgo biloba pills is working, baby. But, yeah, no, he started out as a wide receiver, and he was converted to, quarterback. And he's been playing quarterback ever since he was a wide receiver. So, I mean, I get from a psychological standpoint, as you making the jump from that position to that position, you understand what a receiver's responsibilities are and so on and so forth. So that could help. But, I mean, how many times we said it just from, even from coaches, it's easy to be the offensive coordinator, and you look at that chair over there, the head coach chair, like, man, I can sit there. It's that, it's just right there. And then you actually get in that chair and be like, whoa, okay, no, I can't do this. You get what I'm trying to tell you? So making that jump from wide receiver to quarterback in the NFL, and then add in, of course, what you're saying here, Double J, the guy didn't have nothing to work with. I'm impressed with Tannehill being able to make that switch. Because he played, to me, as far as I'm concerned, he wasn't terrible with the Dolphins. He played pretty decent, despite not having, all of what he should have had. So, so say you. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt, what I'm also something to keep an eye on, again, it seems like across the division, we're picking up on both the quarterback play as well as the offensive line. They have just about an all Big Ten offensive line. You have 2 Purdue players. You have 1 Michigan State player in Jack Conklin. And then you also have a Michigan player as well. So it's very interesting to see their defense. You got to remember who their head coach is and where he came from.
I know it.
Vrabel. New England. And he's trying to – you got guys like Kenny Vaccaro. And then, of course, you got your Logan Ryan from New England. And then you got one more with, I want to say, I'm trying to remember who exactly it was here, Malcolm Butler, who, of course, made the interception to seal the game.
Yeah, Malcolm Butler. Seahawks gave him one. He got his 15 and 17 and a half minutes of fame off of, Pete Carroll's decision. But anywho, should have gave the ball to Marshawn Lynch. But, yeah, no, I'm with you on that. But, see, here's the deal, though. At the end of the day, you mentioned Delaney Walker. He's 35, Double J. How's that going to help?
Well, if anything, it just reiterates the experience. But, again, this is why I stress both that O-line and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry can run them into the playoffs. He has that type of explosiveness. And if the O-line holds up, then it's going to allow the quarterback to hit these receivers and take some of the pressure off of Delaney Walker. It's going to leave him open down the seam. You think of guys in their mid-30s like Tony Gonzalez, and then, of course, our guy out in San Diego for years. And so you don't want to put a crazy workload on him, but he can still certainly get the job done.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But he seemed like he's their only bona fide passing threat. I mean, we know what Derrick Henry can do, and I think that they should start using him or utilizing him more so out the backfield on pass catching. You know what I mean? To help Delaney out a little bit. But other than that,
well, but that's what Deion Lewis is going to be their third down back. He's going to be your catch out of the backfield guy.
Yeah. So then you telling me first and second down, they're not going to really be trying to throw the ball to the running backs out the backfield. It's more so handoff or try to go downfield with your wideouts as it's designed. Yay, no, maybe. Double J, you still there?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's what I was asking you. Yeah, no, that was rhetorical. I was asking you. You know what I mean? Because on first and second down, what do they do? If you're saying Deion Lewis is the third down back, or do they split?
Yeah, you got to beat them in the trenches. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I mean, on the flip side of this, the Texans.
Run between the tackles.
I said the Texans. Yeah, right. Metcalf up the middle. Can the defense carry the Titans should their offense stall? Because their offense is suspect to me. Mariota or no Mariota, bulked up or no bulked up. The offense is suspect to me. Overall is what I'm saying. The defense was ranked 8th last year. Can they carry him?
Well,
Go ahead, Brother Rich.
I was going to say who you asked, man. I didn't want to talk.
Yeah, no, you good,
but
Brother
I
Rich.
was going to say, when you mentioned them, that's the only team, that's what I think of, defense. I don't think of them as some offensive power. I think of them as, like he said, in the trenches, like you were saying and pointing to in the trenches, that this is a team of defensive people. Because, come on, if they're relying on Mariota, I don't see it yet. Nobody has seen it yet. We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, well, that's fair. I mean, that's what we do here. It's either true or it's not true, and we ain't seen it yet. That's the truth. So let me ask this then to both of you all, and Brother Rich will stay with you on it. Will the Titans make the playoffs this year?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And briefly tell me why.
Because here's why I say yes. Here's why I say yes. Because somewhere along the line in this thing that's called NFL football, some team that we all anticipate should do better or decent, like Indiana, will not perform up to par. And then some of the teams that we're anticipating. So injuries play a part in this more than any other sport. There's a lot of different things. So getting in might not be the issue, but whether or not you advance or you have a good showing, that's the question.
Okay, and you think that they got enough to get in?
I think they got enough to get in because of the defense. I think they got enough to get in because of the defense.
All right, that's a solid. Well, Double J, what about you? Do they make the playoffs this year? The Titans?
Yeah, I'm going to say they sneak in as a wild card on the road.
Okay, so now here's the question I wanted to get to earlier, because that was a nice little. We wrapped that up in 56, y'all. That's a good deal. Who wins this division, Double J? Let me make sure I got you on that. Who wins this division? Double J, you there?
Yep.
Who wins?
Yeah, I did not hear you.
Okay, who wins this division?
Jacksonville.
Okay, Brother Rich, you say that. Who wins this division?
By default, Jacksonville.
Whoa. I'm sticking with the Colts. Now here's the $1 million question. So, Brother Rich, Double J say Jags. I say Colts. Who or which team? Which team from the AFC South makes it to the AFC Championship? Or can they get to the AFC Championship? Brother Rich?
I'll stick with Jacksonville.
You think Jacksonville can get to the AFC Chip, huh?
I still Jacksonville.
And who's
if somebody?
Go ahead. Go ahead. I don't
and
even
who
know.
they what? Sir?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The dog pound.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the So it's Jacksonville, because that's what I'm getting at. Jacksonville and the Browns in the AFC Championship.
I can see that.
Okay. All right. I ain't mad at you on that one. I don't know. That's a tough call right there. But I look. But that's Brother Rich.
The young horses run for the roses.
I'm just saying. But see, Brother Rich, you're a Kobe fan. You know what I'm saying? So I feel where you be coming from with your one. Double J, what say you? Who?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I called it a few moments ago that it would be they got to make that hike up north, and that's where they freeze.
Yeah.
They can't handle the waves of fury in January.
Well, I had to come back to this because I thought you was having a delirious moment. You know what I mean? But apparently, see how you sticking to your story. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, so to speak. So you saying it's the Jaguars, too, and the Browns in the AFC Championship?
Absolutely. I think it's a rebuild year for Brady. He gets knocked off, a shocker in the week before.
Man, all right. Well, I want to appreciate my co-host here today for jumping out the plane at 76,000 feet with no parachute. But that's what that's because I couldn't tell you. I mean, I would love to see the Browns in the AFC Championship. They are overdue for an AFC chip appearance. You get what I'm trying to tell you? And I really couldn't care who less was on the other side. It could be the Patriots. It could be the Chiefs. It could be anybody. And with all due respect to Mahomes and Tommy B and all them guys, I'm telling you right now, if that brown and orange sitting on the other side in that chip, it's going down, baby. And whoever in front of them going down with it. However, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to say who.
What don't you know, sir? Tell me what you don't know.
I mean, I'm
You
rolling.
don't know that we gonna win. Okay.
I'm rolling with the Browns. I just
It's
don't
on
see.
the crackers.
I just don't see
on
it.
the
I
crackers.
don't see the chip in it this year. Not this year for them. Actually, I see Kansas City in it. I see Kansas City in it, and I don't know if they don't get it off to a slow start. I could see Kansas City in the Chargers. To be honest with you, the Chargers and Phillip Rivers. We'll get to them in our next one. Most likely, we might. I don't know if I'm gonna preview the AFC West or the AFC East. Yeah, I might do the West. But yeah, I Phillip Rivers. He got that acumen too. You know what I mean? He got some. He can get you. He can get you. All right. But the thing is, the Chargers either start slow and then come on late, or start early and then fade late. So I don't know. You know what I mean? But they're more than capable. But I see Chiefs and Chargers. And on that note, it's been fun, but we got to run. Excuse me one second here, fellas. I got a fly bothering me for whatever reason. I don't even know how he even got in here. Yeah, all right, here we go. And on that note, it's been fun, but we got to run. We appreciate y'all for listening. Don't forget to check us out right here on the Spreaker.com network. You go to the search box and you type in the Shop Report. Or you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, iTunes, and, of course, via email, theshopreport365@gmail.com. And we are also now, I was going to let Double J say it, but we are on Apple Podcast for all of you listeners out there. So if you got Apple Podcasts or whatnot, you can check us out there as well. And if that don't work, you can Google it for my guest, my man from the NYC, a.k.a. Rucker Park, Brother Rich, and my cat from up north, Joey James, a.k.a. Double J. And all those who follow us on social media, we say thank you for your support. I'm Barbershop Jay, and you listen to the Shop Report. And remember, the next time y'all want to know what's really going on, man, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome. Holla.